People fear public speaking more than they fear death. That is amazing. That's amazing. So I'm trying to help you, I'm trying to get you out of that group so you can become a very confident public speaker. Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Ennis Olaronekpa. I'm a communication expert, and in today's video, I'll be sharing with you some basic tips to help you overcome your fear of public speaking. You see, interestingly, people fear public speaking more than they fear death. That is amazing. That's amazing. So I'm trying to help you, I'm trying to get you out of that group so you can become a very confident public speaker. So I'll share some tips with you that will be helpful before the day of your presentation, on that day, and of course during the presentation. So let's go into it. Now the first thing is to prepare. You see, there are no two ways about it. From the first day you get to know you're making a presentation, begin to put your notes together, gather information that are relevant to your presentation. You can't leave it till the last minute. You're already setting up yourself to fail. So you've got to prepare, getting the right supporting materials, putting the points together, then practicing. Practice in front of people you are comfortable with. It could be your family, your spouse, your friend, someone close by. For example, most times I get to practice before my wife, and then she tells me to add this, we make corrections together. So preparation is key. See, what you don't prepare for, there's a high chance of failure. So you've got to prepare, you've got to practice, you've got to get comfortable with the topic, get acquainted with the topic. See, most times what helps is when you are able to even know most of the topic by heart. You see, get so acquainted with the topic that you can even tell most of it by heart, so that your notes are just to guide you. That way you are very confident. You're already looking forward to sharing that presentation. Now, part of preparation is the understanding of the topic. Get to understand the material. Relate to the material. You see, and then before you know it, there's excitement even building. You're already imagining how much your audience will learn from this material. But if there's no connection between you and the material, if your mind is not in the presentation, there are chances that you'll be afraid, scared of flopping, scared that the audience might not love the information or even accept it or even understand it. So all of these potential threats or risks of fear are eliminated through proper, adequate, sufficient preparation. Don't wait till the night before the presentation to start preparing. All right, so adequate preparation is key. Now, on the day of the presentation, it's always important that you go in, even before that day, try to go over the presentation by yourself. Okay, spaced repetition, not 100 times in one day and then that's all. No, spaced repetition, probably in the morning, in the evening, then the next day, then probably 2 days after. And before you know it, you're getting more acquainted and familiar with the topic and the presentation. Now, on that day of the presentation, you've got to be excited. See, your mood affects your presentation. So you've got to be happy, excited, eliminate and avoid anything that would trigger the wrong mood for the presentation. All right? And what if something happens that you didn't plan for? Hey, you're an actor. You see, if you're a good public speaker, then you're a good actor. So you can put up a smile even if you're not really happy, not genuinely excited, but it comes to the audience that you are confident and you are looking forward to the presentation. So that energy also transmits to the audience. All right? Now, before the presentation, okay, now for me what I do is, and if you are a Christian and you have the Holy Spirit, I recommend it to you. It's the first recommendation from me, speaking in tongues. When you speak in tongues, it quells the fear. You see, it quenches everything. The fire is gone. See, so just, you can probably some minutes to your presentation, you can just get somewhere, get into the bathroom and speak in tongues under your voice. Even if you can't speak speak too loudly, under your voice, just hear yourself, and hey, you'll be ready. You will be set for your presentation, I can guarantee you. Now, in addition to that, before the presentation, just while you're about to get called up, you can start taking deep breaths while on your seat. All right? Now, I recommend that you take in deep breaths and then exhale from your mouth. Now, why is that important? You see, the body produces an hormone called adrenaline. And when there is fear, panic, there's a rush of adrenaline. And what that does is it makes your breath become shallow, your heart beats faster, all right? So when you take in deep breaths, it reduces your heart rate and gets the oxygen well circulated, and your brain functions more effectively. So taking deep breaths, and I recommend belly breathing, that's diaphragmatic breathing. So breathing through your belly. How do you do that? It's very easy. Just when you take in the breath, for example, so instead of breathing out through your chest, you see, let your belly get involved in the breathing. So you could practice it at home. It's very easy, very, very easy. Just, you could put your hand on your chest and then another one on your belly, and then practice. So you take in the breath. See? I'm using my belly. Now, actually, this is actually the most, the more effective way of breathing compared to your chest breathing. But when you grow older, the breathing changes from the diaphragm to the chest. But practicing this over a period of time, you will actually become, or to get reversed to belly breathing, which is actually better for you. So practice that. Now, while you're called up, going to the stage, one thing I recommend is to tuck in your stomach, okay? Tuck in your abdomen. Once you do that, automatically, it pushes out your chest and then your shoulder, you see? So it's a confident look, all right? So while taking those steps to the podium, tuck in your stomach, your chest is out, and then makes you look very confident, even if you don't feel confident, all right? And still in that process, you could be taking your deep breaths, okay? Breathing in and exhaling through your mouth. Now, one thing I always do is I love to have a smile. Now, while smiling, I tend to leave some space, some gap to exhale. So, you see, some gap to exhale through my mouth. So while walking to the stage, tucking my abdomen, my chest is out, I appear confident, there's a smile, I'm taking in the deep breaths and exhaling through my mouth. Boy, before I get to that stage, I'm ready. And while going to that stage, I'm already excited, thinking about what I'm going to be sharing with my audience. That's it. That's it. Now, when you get to that stage, I think 2 videos, or probably the last video I made, I spoke about how to begin a speech. I gave you some tips. Always rehearse, compulsorily rehearse your introduction. Always rehearse, up to the point where you're so spontaneous that even without rehearsing much, you can use things around you in the environment to probably help with your introduction. But till you get to that point, always rehearse your introduction. How do I intend to begin? Am I using a quotation, a story, some statistics, facts, some testimony, expert testimony, lay testimony, prestige testimony? How exactly am I beginning my speech? So determine that, get that sorted before the presentation and stick with it, all right? Of course, while you practice, you might realize that you need to make some changes. So you would have started all of those things before that day. That day or that moment shouldn't be the first time you are practicing that introduction or using the introduction, because you're not in that, the practice time has passed already, but that should not be the first time you're using that introduction. You should have already practiced and seen if that will work best for that audience or that presentation. Okay, now during the presentation, like I told you, because you have rehearsed, there are pictures that will come to your mind, pictures of your rehearsal while you're laughing with your spouse, your family, all the mistakes that you made, they'll be coming to your mind, and then you'll be eliminating them and avoiding them and just navigating through your way through. So that's very important. I spoke to you about also engaging the audience. Knowing how to engage the audience is important, because that will also help you to feel more comfortable. Now, the audience may not encourage you from the beginning, but you as the speaker, you can think of ways to also activate that engagement, get them to be involved in the presentation. All of these are part of what you do. Like I told you again about the types of audience. All of these things play a role in determining how well you will speak and how much confidence you will feel during your presentation. So these are just a few tips. There are more, but if you can start with these ones, I'm sure you will get better results right from your next presentation. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video. And be sure to check out other videos on public speaking. There are other tips that I've given previously that will actually help you and be useful. Bye-bye.